And good evening. We're here to kick off the overnight randomizer relay race. We got 4 randomizers this time around. We're going to be starting off with Earthbound PK Scramble. We've got Colby Rays, Dare GNC, and Mick McGurk. I always want to miss a Mick on that one. They'll be running PK Scramble. I think they can go ahead and get kicked off if they're ready to go. We'll give them the countdown over there.
And reminder runners, please mute and deafen yourself.
We'll be getting underway here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The relay has begun.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah, so PK Scramble is one of the randomizers for Earthbound. One of my favorite games just to play. There is another one called Ancient Cave that kind of stitches all of the rooms in Earthbound together into one 9-floor dungeon. This will be not that. We're gonna see some little bit different style here. So this flex set is called Dr. Saturn. So our goal here, we need to beat 4 sanctuaries, and then we need to go, instead of normally we would fight Gygas at the end of the game to win, and this one we just have to go to Magic Hands, which is unlocked after we complete the 4 sanctuaries, and we have to beat the boss that will be at the Ness's Nightmare spot. So overall, we are starting in a random start, which I think looked like it was Saturn Valley, and then we have access to a couple other towns in the game, and from there kind of logic will place access to other locations. Checks can reward us with characters, they can reward us with teleports, or they can reward us with a key item like the pencil eraser, which will potentially unlock more areas. Additionally, as the logical path is placed through the scene, enemies scale based on what we're kind of expected to have, and so our opening towns will have relatively easier, although whatever Colby found looks pretty nasty.
Look like
I think we have
double blarg or something.
Yeah, there's some. Let me look at the full flag set here. We did boost experience in gold. One of the nice flags that's usually on in PK Scramble is called Easy Deaths, which means we don't lose money. I think normally in vanilla we lose half our cash anytime that we wipe, but in this case we just go back to our last saved location, or if we haven't saved, wherever we started, which in this case was Saturn Valley. I see Derek going into one of our available checks. So we started with Winters. We can go get an item from the bubblegum vendor. It looked like it was the signed banana that gets us access to the back of the museum in Forsyth, where we see McGurk right now fighting a boss to get there first. Sanctuary, Colby and Derek have headed into Moonside. Sometimes we see runners heading into that early Moonside in order to getting loaded up with beverages over here.
Gotta take care of you.
But yeah, so Moonside has a few treasure chests in there, and if it's later in logic, sometimes it can be beneficial to kind of jump in here and get some of those high tier items. It looks like just from the enemies we saw that this is actually probably expected for us to go here earlier. $50, a boiled egg. If this was later in logic, maybe we find like a heavy bazooka or something that we can really go to town with. We also only start with Ness, so we need to find some characters probably to help us progress. Jeff comes with a key item, so does Pooh, and they're needed for a couple of checks as well. I think we do have generated enemies because we saw like one of those molecule enemies, which are normally a Magicant type enemy. So
I thought that
we won't
had Kobe for
exactly
a moment
know.
there.
Oh, we're seeing another. Ooh, this is kind of a toughie. Yeah, department store spook. So it is going to be scaled down, but ooh, nice work. Very fast. It looks like we have Psy Shuffle on. So in this case, the favorite thing, Psy Power, instead of being a wave attack, it looked like it was Star Storm, which is pretty solid. I think it's actually better because the like Ness's vanilla power has a chance to has a chance to miss on some enemies, and I believe Starstorm always hits. All right, we're getting some memes.
Let's go.
Nice. Will it fit? Rando, Mara. I think we're gonna be one shy.
It's all
Close
right.
enough. Love it.
We'll let that ride.
Definitely seeing some divergence there going into the department store. Just like in vanilla, when we go in here, it's taken over, and we gotta go fight this boss. But then we unlock these shops, and they can be pretty good. Yeah, that Starstorm should let
Yeah,
Derek get through.
that's kind of a that's kind of crushing most things they're running into early on.
It's one of the better ones that could get shuffled into there. We would probably rather see it in the place of Psy Freeze because Paula and Pooh both have access to higher levels of that faster. Right. Usually in PK Scramble, we never get beyond beta in the for like Nessa's favorite thing. Although, who knows? I think like, we juiced up experience, so we might see some of the bigger stuff, but it also doesn't have as big of a damage range as the Psy Wave, so it's a nice one. The only thing better would be like probably Bomb, because with the extended PSI shuffle, our like Jeff device abilities will also get shuffled around, so potentially like a bottle rocket could actually be PSI freeze or fire. We haven't seen Jeff or really a shop at all yet.
I'm gonna have to make a point to pick up the look in the PK Scramble here. Where is my commands?
I should probably maybe get chat out so I can see what's up with that. All right.
It's just people scarring us with the idea of having a light mode for a UI replacement. I don't know why people would do that to themselves, but apparently they do.
There is actually like because the window colors that we get to pick at the beginning are also randomized, and there is a teeth menu color. I'm not seeing any teeth. It's a pretty popular one for hurting the viewer's eyes on a stream. But yeah, like that's another just like I really appreciate this randomizer. Like the main dev behind it, who we might see in chat, Jay Tolmar. I think they really have taken a lot of consideration for keeping like the vibes of Earthbound, even though we're like messing around with the mechanics and
which that's always important when you're talking about a randomizer, because like vibes are very important.
The teeth, yeah, the teeth. I would say they're polarizing. So that the people love the teeth, people love to hate the teeth. I like more of like the purple pink window colors myself. It's what I tend to go for, or whatever seems tastiest. And teeth flavor window doesn't seem very tasty to me.
No, I just the term teeth plus flavor makes me go, no, thank you. I've had enough. I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, and I'm seeing. It looks like McGurk has gone to the desert, which having access to Foreside, we can just make a little bit of a long walk and go out there. We're in the mole cave. There's usually some good loot if this is later in progression. I miss what we can find out what's in here at the beginning, but we have to go fight all the moles. In this case, I think they're Frankie Stein Mark IIs, which are not very scary bosses, no matter how strong they are. I think half of the time their script is to not do anything.
Well,
And
that's
they
always
punch.
convenient.
Now they're punching pretty hard, although I don't think Ness has armor. The new window, I got see question in chat. Are the new window colors and text new additions? I don't think so. I think a lot of people run with like the default colors, and then the win text is really based on the flavor. Like it'll say different stuff. I think someone's on what is called final flavor, which says like monsters perished instead of you won, and then it says like critical hit instead of the smash. Yeah, so I appreciate those little things too of like changing the text to match the vibe of the window flavor.
Don't mind me, chat. I'm
Paula.
doing something cursed.
It looks like, yeah, Paula was at Monotoli, which leads me to believe that somewhere in our early key items we found the yogurt dispenser in order to get into there. But McGurk has not gone there yet. There are these exit mice that are down in the mole cave. They're very nice for trying to go fast in a race because they can let us get out of pretty much any dungeon very quickly, and the Monotoli dungeon is a little bit of a walk, and so it's nice to have exit mice in hand before going here. And with the bosses being so weak,
Taco is fantastic. I'm sorry. Sorry, Fitz. Continue. I'm inflicting things.
eraser. Okay. So that we do need that for a check. It's not a very popular check to go to. Because we also need to find the bubble gum. But with the eraser, we can get into the alien base under Stonehenge in South Winters. Meanwhile, McGurk heading up to get there, Paula. There's some very tight movement in here to avoid these robot encounters. I'm not the best at it, but I'm sure we'll see Gurk here slide by them all pretty easily. I'm gonna look to see if teleport anywhere is on. I don't think we've seen it. Yeah, that's definitely a interesting thing about running Earthbound with the swirl system plus the like stuttering movement technique. It looks like because the robots are like slugs. That's pretty funny. They're a lot harder to see when they're black dots on a brown background. Like I didn't even see what he ran into.
They have advanced camouflage systems now.
Indeed. Yeah, I wonder where our big divergence is going to be, because so far we've had kind of a different path, but not necessarily like a key item that has really broken the seed open.
Yeah, they've kind of. I think there's a little bit of left and right type difference at the start that looped back to the same place.
Yeah, that's a great
initially. Excuse me.
Oh, we have return mice instead of exit mice. So those are a little bit different because you put them down to mark a spot, and then you can use it to return to that spot. Similar concept because we could use it outside of a dungeon. I think we just saw McGurk do that, and then
I've got
use it to.
a question that's going to expose me here, but I don't remember. Is return mice in vanilla, or is that...
No, that
okay.
one is.
Phew. Return mice are a randomizer thing?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, because with our movement, a experience like Earthbound, even Vanilla Runner is really adept at getting a lot of those green swirls, which sometimes are an instant win on a weaker enemy, but even for something really tough, if we get a green swirl, we get a guaranteed run on the first turn. Oh, we're getting our first Tessie. My personal favorite.
Yay.
If we got any Earthbound channel subscribers, I want to see those Tessies in the chat. Or donate and tell us why Tessie is the best.
Defend the Tessie. Do it with donations.
Like, look at that. I might have to go. Let me go check real quick. I'm pretty sure I got this email. We'll get it in there. So I gotta show the way, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, back to. I guess we have a little bit of time. So we're kind of seeing some stuff.
A little bit of repeat here and there.
Some repeats. It's really the South Winters trip is our first unique sort of things. I was also looking at the naming schemes. It looks like we have FF6 on Derek's side with Edgar Terra. I think we got some vanilla ones as well. Because like the don't care entries, this is another like randomizer thing. It adds in like a huge pool that are all like thematically tied together. I wonder if there are any FF1 ones. It would just be like the classes.
That would be fun. Hey, E-tap
like,
with the Tessie emote. Let's go.
Nice. There we go. Our second Tessie. I don't think we have regular pencil eraser, which is why we have to
walk all the way around.
That's why we're walking through. If we had that pencil eraser, we can just skip this. But this will be McGurk heading for Sanctuary number 2 here. We'll see if it's the second one. I think it has to be just like logically.
Fuzzy Pickles.
There's a couple of other like nice little additions with the randomizer over vanilla. One of them is inventory stuff. We still have the same amount of inventory, but I haven't played this in a little bit. One of the shoulder buttons, and I'm pretty sure it's the opposite one of like the check one. So I think it's R. Anyway, we'll see runners do it. You can essentially either equip or drop the last thing that we've picked up. So it can make managing the inventory a little bit more straightforward. It's kind of like how in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, there's like a button when we open a chest to just drop it immediately. So that's like a nice addition, although I still find junk accumulates in my inventory.
Can't ever get away from it.
We want to sell stuff for money sometimes as well.
Any statue at the second sanctuary, I think, or is this the third?
They will tell us, and we'll see. I think when another one of our runners hops in there, repels are very nice to find. That's actually a difference. We don't have skip sandwiches in PK Scramble because if we notice all of our players are running around at skip sandwich speed.
Right.
So instead we have repels, which when we use those, they disable the spawn plates for 10 seconds or no, it's a certain number of steps. It's not seconds. For like a repel, and then I think twice as much for a repel DX. It again is more important when we're going through the cave of the past, in order to get to Gygus, because the enemies in there are bad, and we usually just don't want to deal with them. That being said, the path to Magicant is also full of bad stuff, so having a couple of those will make that journey a lot easier. I see a question: clips allowed in racing? For the most part, I'm trying to remember. There are certain skips that are allowed, like in Moonside. There's like a skip that skips the invisible guy from doing his text, for instance. But like out of bounds, I would say, are out in most Scramble races. And I couldn't tell you how to do any of them.
Skips are for punks anyway. Says the guy who doesn't use them just because he never knows them.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of crossover where, like, I think a decent amount of randomizer players have like dabbled in vanilla speedrunning of some extent, particularly Boogie percent being a very popular one, because it's shorter and there's like an annual tournament around that every year. I see Madcap more informed than me. Generally it's just that Moonside one that we do in Scramble races, because we have ways to there's built-in flags if we want to get weird with logic. For instance, there's a flag called Moonside mode, and it makes every NPC in the game teleport you to a random place.
Oh, that sounds horrendous.
So that is one where it's very easy to be like, ooh, I've gotten into like 7th Sanctuary logic and I have level 1 Ness. But
I would love to watch someone play that. I would not touch that as a player.
And there's far worse sort of like, there's a flag called Snake Tag, and it makes an invincible snake that is an instant death if it catches up with you, just follow you everywhere. There are curses as well, which I find a lot of fun, that add just like additional things that enemies can do, bosses can do, and the final Gygus fight can also be like cursed, where it'll like take off your pendants in the transition between like phase 2 and phase 3, or diamondize one of your players or something like that. So it's like there's a lot of variety with PK Scramble that it can kind of be, with flags, turned into, you know, you want to play the whole game, you can turn it on 8 sanctuaries, like beat Gygus and still get kind of all the quality of life stuff. These Dr. Saturn ones tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. We usually the race flags are like 4 sanctuaries, but they have like alternative wins where you can do more sanctuaries and have shorter things to do as well. So there's a lot of ways to play this, and again, for me, I just really like the vibes. Some more. Yeah, we're seeing some underground. We got a meteorite piece, which is probably, I imagine, we got from Winter somewhere. We can turn that in to exit. This is going to be a teleport check down here. This is also how we would go to fight Gygus, if that's what we are going to do. But Not today. It's going to be all about magic hands. Dalam, okay.
Yeah.
There's a kid check there. If we have the carrot key, there's a sanctuary there. And if we have Pooh, there's another teleport check that we can get. So, pretty good progression of finds. Probably a kid, although it could be like Flying Man. That's always fun when we get Buff Bird. It's Jeff. Jeff will come with a key item, and they also allow us to fight Boogie 10. It looks like they came with Fly Honey.
Boy, I'm glad you could see that because I can't keep up with this menu in the slightest.
It's pretty fast. And then it also looks like bottle rockets are the PK favorite thing. So they'll do like a wave attack. No, yeah, that's a bottle rocket. The citrine crystals are what told me kind of what that was.
Gotcha. I have Colby.
So the Fly Honey would let us beat the Belch base, and that gives us access to another sanctuary. And if McGirt, okay, they're in go mode, I think.
Oh boy,
they have to do some stuff along the way, which is this sanctuary, Belch base, the sanctuary behind Belch base, and then go to Magic Hand and beat a boss. But yeah. If I'm counting my thanks right, and it's early enough in the night that I think I am.
Rub it in.
We'll see how my counting is.
We are on Twitch. We never want to count on Twitch. And it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, I wonder gear-wise, because we haven't seen too much shopping or like looking for stuff.
Yeah.
So it might be a question of, we're in go mode, but are we ready to beat a potentially tough boss? Is this Starman Jr.? We don't love a Starman Jr., but it's a good use of a crystal there. They are the very first boss, and we normally have Buzz and don't actually like fight them, but
right.
They're resistant to fire and freeze, which are usually like two of our main damage sources, and they can also just do like shield themselves, and that fight can get pretty out of hand quickly at like the later areas. So we're probably glad to see it here. We haven't really seen any of our tricky bosses. Your Plague Rat of Dunes, your Flaming Doggos certainly are nasty to deal with. Thrieve. Oh, nice. The like spawn rates are decreased relative to the vanilla.
Oh, by the way, Fuzzy Pickles.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Ooh, gotten. We do try to use teleport to avoid some of those. They can be kind of finicky to get set up, but I usually hit one run for sure. That one in particular coming out of the mines is pretty tricky. There's another one coming out of the 4th sanctuary on the other side of this Belch base trip that I also tend to get, but caterpillars, they're kind of dangerous because they spam fire every turn, but they're full of experience. See question here. Yes, we don't need the 3 minutes. We need actually the Fly Honey to get in instead. because otherwise no one would want to come through here in a race.
Yeah,
You
I'd
would
be
go
like,
try
no,
to
thank you.
find another sanctuary if you
I
could.
I will last location that one every time.
Yeah, we're trying to despawn some of these puddles, and we succeeded. Ooh, getting caught.
Ew, the cold.
Got some sniffles, healing up. The levels are looking pretty good. Car painter. I don't think we have a Franklin badge, so.
This might get kind of ugly.
But we do have some good magic, so. Gotta solidify off. Well, yeah, those aren't hitting for too bad. If it was a full thunder,
Yeah.
we might be in trouble. On Derek's side, we've got that Starman lasting a little bit longer, and we're seeing that resistance, throwing up some psi shields, because really, Starman Jr. just uses spells like a bunch, and
net teleport.
usually hurt us pretty bad.
So McGurk just got the net teleport from the hot spring.
With the random starting location, well, it doesn't matter because this is going to be their fourth sanctuary, but
yeah.
They would need the police badge to get to like the north side of town, but they probably won't go to Onet at all. Okay, we've got the Trillionage, Sprout, and some crocodiles. I don't think this is gonna be too bad. We're brushing our teeth for the memes. I love it. Oh, and then we got Sci Flashed Beta, which is kind of bad. So we're gonna try to finish this.
Ow.
Got Strangeness. That's always scary. Oh, okay.
Okay.
The good news is there's a full heal on the other side of this fight. So we'll get rid of all that nasty stuff. Which is everyone's very nauseous.
Excuse me. There's
Yep,
the
and that's Magicant. Gonna use the return mouse. Using our teleport A, which is like a couple seconds faster than a teleport, the swirly one. Gonna hit a save here. There is a couple shops. Like there's the pendant shop and the pudding shop. And since McGurk has shopped almost none,
they've got all the money in the world.
Picking up a flame pendant. Elemental resist is pretty good because generally the later in scaling we get, the more stuff is going to use magic. It really is going to come down to what bosses out here and how many repels McGurk has. I think they have 2. We need 3 to get through here with no spawns. It also depends what is in here. They have 3. Never mind. So they're going to be pretty good. And then they'll have to navigate through the Sea of Eden, which will have, it won't be the Krakens, it'll be something else. A Sword of Kings, but
no poo.
No poo.
Like getting an Excalibur when you don't have a knight. The worst thing.
Yeah, they're either gonna be they're either locked up in Happy or they're in their normal spot in deep darkness. Ooh. Dodging the tents. They look like a rat to me.
Yep.
The rat is kind of a beast. think, yeah, we're trying to freeze him with the... Ooh, big head.
Oof.
The toothbrush actually can solidify an enemy in addition to just being fun. In the end credits, it will tell us if all the kids brush their teeth or not during the run. As part of that. I think we're gonna be okay, yeah. And so time will be when they get the U1 right after this, and I will have to get my spreadsheet open and record the first finish so fast. So I have a race room. We got a race room time of 34:37.
Very nice.
Very fast. I'm gonna ping.
I need to go wake up the Chrono Trigger runners.
Yeah.
So if Derek's matching or has been following McGurk, then they're probably about to get their fourth as well, I think.
Yeah.
In a moment when we talk to it.
All right, alerted. Get the spreadsheet open for the scoring. Oh, I gotta roll a seed for them too.
That's the spirit, Taco. Look like Derek. That is Derek's fourth sanctuary. So.
So yeah, our team led by McGurk. So far, so good. But there's definitely
We've
a lot
got
of variance.
3 more games to get through, so.
Hey folks, can you hear me?
Hello. GG.
Thanks. It was a very quick one.
Yeah. Absolutely crushed our estimate. Which is good. It's good to be ahead of schedule. Might mean I can wake Jay up at 5 in the morning and ruin his day.
Yeah, that was a little couple of spicy moments, but otherwise it was a pretty normal seed, I think. I was a little frightened at the start when I saw the item that I picked up right over the very first dungeon. It's a little higher level than I would have expected. Things worked out okay. The bosses were not mean ones for getting them a little early.
Right.
I did. The Chillinage Sprout boss could have been very disastrous if things had rolled a little bit differently. My Nest character was made to feel strange right as I did a spell to bomb the entire team. Thankfully, Nest did not target the party, so that was good. And most importantly, I remembered to have everybody brush their teeth.
Very good. That's the very important part.
Thank you.
Looks like Derek just entered Magic Camp themselves. Gonna go do their save, get their money. Not quite sure where Colby is because everyone does menus so fast. I am over here constantly lost.
Yeah, because they have the carry, so they're gonna go carry. They're like 2 sanctuaries behind, but I still think they'll be finishing probably within the next 15 or 20 minutes, barring any
disasters.
Yeah, I think everyone's probably carrying around similar numbers of Repel sandwiches. So I don't think there would be too much.
Available, so that was nice. We didn't have to search too hard. I think I ended up with 4.
Yeah, the seed was pretty generous.
Is Derek just... Derek may not have any since I've seen them take a couple fights on this path here.
Yeah, I was trying to see what kind of enemies we'd be looking at, but... Okay, these look like kind of mole cave type. They should be scaled to be like around halfway through the game power enemies.
Right. No, sugar cat, go away.
Ooh, oh.
We almost got my teeth.
Yeah, I wonder if these are boogie tents or if they're...
With these settings, it should just be boogies. I don't think the bosses were shuffled. I mean, sorry, in-generated bosses. They're obviously shuffled. They are
Right.
all vanilla bosses and non-vanilla bosses.
Derek saved their crystal for this fight in particular.
Yeah, that's a good call. I got scared of... I'm trying to remember when I used it. Must have been on Starman Jr.
Yeah, their Starman Jr. fight was a little bit scary because it went more turns. Alright, I'm gonna check the race room time, but that'll be GG's for Derek GNC. With a race room time of 40:52 for Team B.
Like Colby's thinking really hard about where to go.
Yeah, let's look at what key items we got. It's that fly honey we can follow.
I just realized he is the fly honey net. No, maybe not.
There we go.
It's a little bit weird with the fly honey and not having threed. Because that's where my mind would immediately go, is like, okay, well, I need that to get to Saturn Valley, but I'm already in Saturn Valley. But it's like, oh, wait, I can go do Belch Base, and then there's a sanctuary back there. So I think that's the thought process.
Yeah.
That we just saw play out there.
Yeah, this is the choices of places and the way in which you would be getting to everything in this one is a bit unusual. We don't often see seeds where we don't get, like, we didn't need to go to Onet, Tucson, or 3 to win.
I feel like, sorry, GG's, by the way.
Hey, Derek.
I feel like the seed kind of just railroaded you right where you needed to go in a little ways.
Yeah, from out here, it looked a whole lot like a very solid railroad there. I don't think anyone really diverted much on this.
Yeah, I think they wanted us to go to Moonside and the mines before we went to the sanctuary, but it also didn't need to. Sewer sanctuary. I went to the sewer sanctuary first. Kind of.
See, I went Moonside, and then I actually went into Monotoli and the department store for a little bit of leveling and to buy a weapon.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got lucky in that very first treasure room inside of the sewers had a like that.
I was
scary, but worked out.
I don't know if it was just me, but it felt like spawns were so low. I kept thinking, never punished. I never had to despawn in the sewer. Belch Base was not terrible, and I was like, I don't feel like I could play wrong at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there were some points where it felt like there were more spawns than others. I had a lot more than I like in the Starman base. But it wasn't too bad. It was just in the beginning.
I think I got like one spawn in there. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Sure, this works. Gift horse, mouth, etc.
Right?
But yeah, then I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We didn't get anything too much fun. It was nice to have Rocket on S.
Oh my god, yeah.
Although the enemies weren't really different. I mean, Starstorm and Rocket are a set of spells to have. If you're gonna have them, way better than alternative. It's nice seeing the Zap Bomb. I don't know if you picked that up somewhere.
Yep, I sure did. And then I used it in the final battle. I was like, I'm saving it for the final battle, and it actually went off.
I used mine against Trillinage because more enemies. If
Sorry, it is fuzzy pickle time. Okay, as you were.
Yeah, no, Trillion wasn't too bad though. You just used Starstorm.
Yeah, I was telling Sunflash and Fitz I got lucky that he flash betaed me to feel strange right as I had it queued up. But we did not. We decided not to target ourselves thing.
We saw the feeling strange and went, uh-oh. I couldn't follow the rest of the combat, but I was like, I know what that means. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact percentage. But, it's not 100% target yourself. If I would have, it would have been bad for party.
Yeah. Well, it's like insta-kill spells in Final Fantasy 1. It's 100% chance to work whenever the bad guys use it, and it's a 0% chance to work how you want it when you use it most of the time.
I think that's accurate, actually.
I have yet to be proven wrong.
All right, so out of curiosity, McGurk, what'd you name your kids?
I chose the default ones that had
Okay.
Vex and Holy.
I kept up with the Final Fantasy theme.
I was able to put in my meme of Final Fantasy randomizer nerf, so
Yes, it was very.
I didn't calculate it properly.
Yours was much more comprehensible than mine. Mine was chat high, not high chat.
Yeah. We just took it as you being very enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's what we'll go with. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, hi chat! Chat, hi!
Fully intended. Remember, if you misplay... Go ahead.
You were not accusing Chad of being on any substance.
Yeah, no. Remember, every time you make a misplay, it's so we can appreciate the OST more, we can appreciate the art, and you know what? I thought we were going to come in underestimate, so I thought, why don't we pad time a little bit?
Yeah.
That's the excuse I always use.
I like it.
It's never failed me, honestly. Now, Coley had a kind of a Magicant as I had. I think I had one spawn and despawned a couple things.
Did you not have very many repels?
I had 0 repels.
Oh, yeah, I had 4.
Where did you get them?
I don't remember.
No. I stopped checking boxes after a little bit. I was just like, I'm fine.
At some point I started checking. Oh, one of them I got from the Cave of the Past. The wreckage. I always check that because that's a very common spot.
Yeah.
I think there was one in one of the boxes.
Yeah, McCurk.
Yeah, I didn't.
Throne room.
McGurk had enough to have no. Oh, I thought Colby got by. I thought they got by.
It was a good stutter attempt. I'll say that.
Yep.
I had to open my mouth and say he was doing a great job of stuttering.
Yep. We jinxed him. It is okay.
I miss you.
We both
And of
got
course, that
by,
Sword of Kings right at the end. It's like,
Yeah,
thanks,
we
game.
we got by all of the boogie tents in the Sea of Eden.
Yep.
Hopefully,
Boogie
I
tent, I
have
feel like
is
is
for that.
Boogie tent. I feel like is not the
Oh.
worst one to have to dodge.
Alright, Commentator's Curse is not my fault, because I'm not the one that spoke into existence.
Yep, that was me. Team Colby Rays.
Okay. I was like, uh-oh. Because I have no idea where that would have been, even in logic, how hard that would have been.
It is usually supposed to be the magic boss.
Fair.
Playground of Doom was not.
Alright.
Ooh, maybe we'll get an insta-win.
I'm still hearing thunder in the background over here.
I'm wondering
No.
why we're not rocketing or anything on the rat with Ness. Oh, okay, there we go.
I think he was hoping for the insta-kill. I think there is a good chance of that.
I don't know that they've
Yikes, two
ever tried
crits.
the insta.
Yeah, Rat likes to crit.
There we
Oh.
go.
Alright.
GG.
Incredible times all around.
Sub-hour, yeah.
You like that?
I think this might be my best Scramble time yet. I wish I were more kidding than I am.
Talk about PB.
Potentially. I don't keep with randomizers. I don't really keep track of time. So it's
Marathon
just like,
PB.
sure, we'll go marathon PB because it's the first marathon I've ran this in.
Then PB. That's a PB.
We'll take it. We clip those.
Yes.
Tire on top.
GG Colby's.
Good job, Colby.
GG.
E.
Let's see what level lost for me. I had to do Starman base in that one. A lot, and I had to do backtrack to Tessie again. Dang.
Oh,
Oh.
we love Tessie.
I appreciated extra Tessie.
Everybody loves it.
So, Fitz, have you heard from the Jets of Time crew yet?
Yeah, they're getting ready up. I gotta ping one of them, but yeah,
Okay.
we're gathering together for the next. We're definitely ahead, and we got a little bit of setup time baked
Yeah.
between the legs, but yeah, we're gonna.
We got a lot of setup time now.
Yeah, I wondered a little bit we might come in early. We talked about it and said that it'll be okay. We could make it work.
Absolutely no complaints here. Well, final thoughts before I take us to a waiting screen?
That was a fun run. I hope everybody got to see a little bit of fun Earthbound that they don't normally get to see, and strange things and fun spells and all that good stuff.
Go check out the randomizer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat. There you go. Colby, any final
Yeah,
thoughts?
Oh, go ahead.
I like this. I like to be here. It was appreciated that you invited me, or I invited myself. Kind of, for playing. but also it's nice that I came back to this team. So
Always
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you everyone for having me. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Okay. Right, I'm gonna yawn in the middle of my conversation there. I'm sorry.
It's gonna happen. But yeah, I
It's-
want to thank the runners of PK Scramble for staying up a little late for a good cause, and yeah, y'all did great.
A round of
Appreciate you.
applause.
Thank you.
Oh, Colby, no one brushed their teeth. Disqualified.
oh yeah, going on, man.
Well, with
Yeah,
that,
they're just
chat, I am going to put us with some OC remix tunes for a little bit while we get our next set of the relay set up. And we will catch you on the flip side for the next part of our marathon for the Liam Foundation.